Hey everybody, welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Remembered, and today we're gonna go back to the costume category again. And yes, I've still got just a few pieces left of costumes, but we still got a good one, and this is one of my favorites of all time, and we're gonna look at this right here. Now you may be saying like, what, just another Battlestar Warrior jacket? Well, yes it is, but this one's very special to me. Why is that? This one was my first. This was my very first one. Now, not including the old, the unlimited jacket, the little one way back when I was a kid. As far as modern, costuming and all that kind of stuff, this was my first. I got this one in August of 1998. And I had already told you how big 1998 was, with everything, remember, that Richard Hatch was doing and all of that. But as far as costuming too, this is a JK2 Costumers Warrior jacket. Now, JK2, if you were anybody associated with Battlestar Galactica in and around the late 1990s, especially when Richard Hatch was doing all of that, and the convention scene and all the actors and actresses, were going to the conventions at that time, JK2 was the place to go. And the JK stood for Joseph Karisman and Kathy Pillsbury, our old friend Kathy Pillsbury, hence JK2, right? And so they did an excellent rendition of the Battlestar Galactica Warrior uniform. The tan, they did the tan uniform, and of course the jacket. And how did I come across it? I didn't even know it. I didn't even know this was available. I was just looking around one day, it was like in about April, I think, of 1998. And I was, I've been watching the episodes on Sci-Fi Channel, and everything was all just awesome. Battlestar Galactica really coming back at that point. And I was looking around, and I found this website. And when I went to the about page, about the guy who had the website, there pops up this picture, and it was a guy, he was in full Colonial Warrior outfit. I mean, not only the jacket, but the tan uniform and everything. I mean, I'm like, my eyes pop out of my head. I'm like, whoa, where did he get that? Because that was the first time I had ever seen that costume may be available or something, So I fired off an email. I said, dude, where did you get the costume? And he said, JK2 Costumers. I went, and by that August, a couple of months later, this came in the mail. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, by the way, the reason why you had to have JK2 at that time is because in 1999, we discussed this the last time, when Richard Hatch debuted his Second Coming trailer, all the costumes, by my understanding, all the costumes featured on Richard Hatch's The Second Coming trailer were done by JK2 Costumers. It was these exact jackets. They also did those special, the colored variations. Remember the red or the scarlet jacket to go along with those Viper pilots with the Scarlet Viper and all that kind of stuff was featured in his novels. And then they said that they made a one-off green jacket, which was a commander's jacket for Richard Hatch only, and it's seen in one or two scenes there. And you could get them. I remember looking at those and go, wow, that'd be cool to get one of those, crimson colored jackets. And I even thought about getting one recently, but when the Galactic costume one popped up and this and that, I go, well, okay, now I'm just gonna stick with that. But by the way, Galactic Costume and Magnoli, who we keep talking about, they're the only makers of the jacket. They will do a custom jacket for you, by the way, because I inquired with both of them about doing the Second Coming crimson jacket, and they said, sure, and it's about the same price. So if you want one like that, you can have them custom make it in those colors, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, you can get that. All right, so now let's turn to this one. So this was it. This was the JK2 Warrior jacket. The material is absolutely beautiful. The beautiful, faux suede in that beauty. This one, has a beautiful color to it. It's a brownish, but has a hint of like red, that brick kind of reddish, kind of orangey color, if you will, but not too much. It's just perfect on there. Has the beautiful buckles, as you can see. They were just awesome. All the styling, all the details. We don't have to go over all that anymore. I think we already know what the Battlestar jacket looks like. Did not come with the collar pins, but these are one of the first set of collar pins. Those are the military intelligence, U.S. Army military intelligence pins that they used for the collar pins for Galactica. And I'm going to actually have a show at some point with some of the insignia that is used. on the Battlestar. And of course, there's the squadron patch that did come with the jacket. Most jackets will come with that. But again, all the styling, all the details. Just turn it around here so you can see the back. There's the little cuff design along the waist. One piece. I mean, all perfect right there. And let me hang that back up again. And then you come to the shoulders. Now, if there is one, I mean, total nitpicky thing that I would say about this jacket nowadays, especially, you know, when you look at the Magnoli and Galactic costume, remember I mentioned about the color, especially of the shoulders. This one here, you know, personally, I think the shoulders are just a little too dark. But like I said, but that's a that's a Battlestar jacket. Doesn't look bad. It comes in the same, it's the faux suede right there, just beautifully detailed with the piping around. I mean, it looks like a Battlestar jacket, right? That's what you want. Although in further research, you know, yeah, it's probably a little bit too dark. I would have, you know, I would love to have the Galactic costume shoulders on this jacket too. But that's why the Galactic costume, I think, is probably the number one as far as how it looks in relation to what was seen on screen. I'd have to say the Galactic costume jacket is probably number one in that realm. Anyway, so that's what they did. It was a little bit dark, but still, it was fantastic for the time. And then the only other thing that this one came with, it has two pockets right here, inside open pockets like that. And it was lined in this kind of acetate lining right here. And the only thing that I would say about that one is that that's the only place where I never, you know, really like that lining. You can kind of tell. I don't know if you can hear this. Hear that little, get it next to the microphone. When you kind of scratch at it, and it's a little bit of a lower quality acetate. The best lining I've ever seen was the Magnoli jacket lining. It's a beautiful, soft satin. That has the best lining. Galactic costume has the best color and design and everything. So, you know, but the lining for that one is great too. But that was the only kind of thing. But back in the day, you know, you need that lining because when you're wearing that tan uniform, it's also made of the same material. And if you don't have this kind of slick lining, your sleeve, you aren't getting it into your jacket. So that's the cool thing about that one. But it has this acetate lining, and like I said, a little bit of a lower quality lining. But, you know, like I say, right, well, you're not looking at the inside of the jacket. You're looking at the outside of the jacket. And so this one was just absolutely beautiful. All of the clasps, you know, still work perfectly there. The design work was perfect. The materials are just fantastic. Looks exactly like a Battlestar jacket. And that's what you got. And this was about $250 back in the day. I got it again in 1998. No longer available. JK2 does not exist anymore. They kind of sort of gave way when BattlestarGalactica.org came. We've said they were like the one-stop shop. They had everything. You know, they had the pistols, the gun belts, the tans, the capes. They had all that stuff and the full ensemble. And about the same price too. So JK2 eventually went out of business, I guess. You can email Kathy Pillsbury, I guess, and ask her a little bit more about it. But the business history of JK2 Costumers. But that's what it was. If you were anybody around that time and you were dressing up as Battlestar, JK2 was the place to go in the late 90s and very early 2000s. And this was their jacket. I got it. I still wear this. It still fits perfect. This was the exact measurements when I sent it to Magnoli just last year to get my Magnoli jacket. So it still fits absolutely perfectly. I wore it on one previous video when I said it was my JK2 jacket. So you can see it on me there, and I'm sure I'll wear it for future videos coming up as well. But that's it, the JK2 costume jacket, one of my favorites of all time. My first one that I got in 1998, still have it, still in pristine condition. And it allowed me to look like a true colonial warrior when I was going to all those conventions and all that stuff at that time. So it was really cool. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Long live Battlestar Galactica, and I will see you in the next video.